Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Es Saadi Marrakech Resort here for the WSOPC Marrakech. And we are in day 2 of the main event. We have 8 fine players sitting around the table with a variety of stacks. My name is JJ Hazan, and I'm glad to be joined by my old friend, George Sanford. How are you, George?
Good afternoon, JJ. I'm very much looking forward to the action here. I think you've probably spotted a familiar face from the UK poker scene. On the left, just getting dealt his first card. That's Chris De Silva from the London poker scene.
An old friend indeed, Chris. I know Chris very well. He looks like he fits into this Moroccan lineup here. Look at him with the sunglasses and the...
Actually, he's definitely got an African style of glasses there, and certainly doesn't look like he's not fitting in at all. I think that might be Calme So in seat 4. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is a well-known French player who's had a couple of big scores. Let's have a look.
So
there it is.
Yeah, Calme So. Yep, and we've got Roger Tondeur in seat 2. Azadine Benjalali, seat 3. Any other big names? Thomas Brzezinski.
Yeah, Roger is an interesting player. He played quite a lot of online Omaha, or used to 2 to 3 years ago when I was playing on GG Poker.
I think I played with him as well. Yep.
He is quite a unique player, I would say. He definitely doesn't play like his age. If you were to use the, looking at the old guy and expecting him to be tight, he's got moves. I definitely think that he is
probably not
be
far off his age. So I always love it when people make assumptions in a alien environment. When I'm playing at a casino that don't know me. But I think I've played PLO with Roger live, and I can't remember where or when. Maybe in Paris. Long time ago.
Yeah, but the benefit for you is that you can work off of that image, can't you? If people underestimate you or think that you're not capable, then I think that a smart thinking player in that age bracket has certainly got an advantage.
Yeah, it's quite hard though, because I tend to make far too many clever remarks on the table, and it blows the whole image of being an old idiot. I get too involved with the banter, can't help it. So, quite a wide range of chip counts. We've got seat 7, 1.5 mil, right down to our mutual friend Chris De Silva in seat 1 with 325k. So here's our short stack. And we have 79 players left. He's very cool. Very tough to play against. I've played with him, mainly holding over the years, and he's a tough customer. Yeah,
he's got an intimidating table presence. He never really flounders. You can never really see him too emotionally invested in hands. Just a very calm and, to use the word that we had earlier on in the week, stoic. And that is quite intimidating sometimes when you're up against that kind of player.
Now, I'm not going to try and pronounce this young man's surname. It's far too complicated.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, Argentinian. Aguantil Diego. Okay, not too bad. We know of Diego or two, but no. Salim I can deal with. Well done. Nice one. Mr. Salim.
Should we go with Aguan for our Argentinian friend?
Aguantil Diego. Yeah, Aguan's fine. Aguante sounds more Argentinian. Excellent. So we've got a raised 60k. Blinds are 15.30 at the moment. So Chris still has 12 big blinds, 13 big blinds. So he's not in that difficult position quite yet. But he will have to pick up a hand or two or make a move. Oh, actually, he's got less. He's in the big blind, sorry. He's under 10 big blinds now. It's an interesting spot to make a play with, though.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to get out the way, preserve that stack a little bit. It's going to be quite difficult. I think maybe if he's up against the button, he might have defended there, but the hijack, slightly stronger of a range, and doesn't want to get tangled up there. 8 deuce, obviously, not going to be able to flop too much. You're like the most likely outcome is you flop bottom or middle pair, and it's going to be somewhat awkward post flop. So
yeah, I mean, he didn't have the hand. He certainly had the right stack in the right position, but I think you really have to have something that can flop better than 8-2 suited.
Yeah, maybe 8-4 suited there. Just something that's suited that can flop a straight is usually the go-to in those kind of spots. The disconnected ones definitely go down in value. So just having a look at the payouts.
Yep,
it's
I've got them as well.
48,000. Yeah, 48,000 MAD right now. 77 left. We're going to be going to a pay jump to 60,000. And the final table lists, the top 9 will get 300,000. So not massively relevant right now. They're looking at kind of small incremental pay jumps, but the next one will be 12,000 MAD, which is good for I think about 1,300 euros, something like that. So certainly nothing to turn your nose up at.
No, we've got a little match up here potentially. But Thomas has actually folded the 4s. Now this is a playable hand by Chris. He's in the small blind. You've got some invested. Big blind behind him. He's up against a king-queen suited. I don't know if he's folded or shoved. No, he's folded.
Yeah, I think he's folded. You could definitely peel there. Obviously, shoving is a bit too aggressive. Folding is okay as well. But peeling when you're short gives you the opportunity to go for a kind of manufacture a bit of a stop and go opportunity when you flop some kind of equity there at the short stack to pot ratio. He elects to just let it go, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
He also had a player behind him, and if he flat calls there, it's going to cost him double his risk at that point, and if big blind raises, you really can't go any further with 7-6 suited. So in the end, I think for a short stack, he's got to find better hand, better position really to make a play, and he will. He's very patient, very patient player. But when he plays a hand, he plays it very strong. Yeah. Guante folding the Queen 8 suited. There's another surname I'm going to struggle with. Mascawi. Now Salim, nice suited connected ace. Never worries me whether it's a 10 or a 5. Treat them the same.
Yeah, similar playability. And the 5 almost has slightly higher value because of the 2-3-4 type boards where it's going to be pretty difficult for your opponent to put you on stronger holdings. So it's quite deceptive. Yeah,
it can be. You add a few points for the deception hand. Whereas if you have a low board and you've got ace 10, ace jack, where are you? At least with ace 5, you get a high board, you know where you are, you can fold. Probably going to get through.
AZ.
Jack 6 suited. AZ.
I think he's going to defend here. I think with the suited jack here, just taking a flop, getting a good price, 30 into 165.
Azzedine
like
Benjilali. AZ.
Okay.
As for short. And he's hit the flop.
Certainly has.
A couple of back doors for Salim, but he's hit second pair. Doesn't need to get too active here. Let's see how Salim plays it.
Or a large c-bet. I think a check or a large c-bet is quite nice. The large c-bet gets hands like ace 10, ace 8 to fold.
I think it's going to be a smaller c-bet. Just on instinct.
He does go for the smaller one. I'm not a massive fan of it, to be honest. I think that this board
I agree with
is
you, but I just thought he might go for a smaller one.
That's what people tend to do.
I think you just get into patterns, don't you, and poker sometimes. And if you're not that experienced, you just have a small bet and make sure you hit your ace on the turn. It's an easy game, poker. Very easy game.
Yeah, it does.
So that is game over for Az, unless he hits a jack or a 6 on the river. So So drawing fairly thin now. So having invested, probably see a similar percentage, I think, maybe about the 100 mark, just over, yeah, 130. So similar percentage to his first bet.
Yeah, just a bet designed to really put pressure on hands like a 6, a 9. Not too worried about
worked.
2 pair here. And it does, yeah.
First blood to the reversed cap man. Very white, isn't he? Look, white polo top, white hat.
Absolutely. Got a bit of a look going on there.
Yep.
The backwards hat usually means business.
Is that what it means?
I think so. I think there's a certain flamboyance to it.
I'll have to take your
word for it. You don't sound convinced.
Well, quite a few people I've met around the poker world that have their hats backwards haven't fully impressed me on a social level. I'm going to leave it there.
Fair enough.
They tend to be a bit
younger
younger
just come
than
straight
Salim.
from the tennis court.
Very unlikely. Salim might have. He looks like he's quite fit, wearing a kind of a tennis over top. Wimbledon white.
Got a little bit of a situation emerging here with Chris de Silva.
What's he questioning? He knows his rules, so he must be questioning either a local rule or something to do with action.
Yeah, that's all I got from it as well. There was no action so far, so I think he might have either folded or raised out of position, out of turn. Oh no, he's got third card by the looks of it.
Ah, okay. What's the other card doing there now? I'm very confused.
That might be Roger's hand, and Roger might have folded.
That third card. No, that Chris's third card was Roger's first card, I think. Didn't get as far, and that's why he's put a second card there. But because it didn't go to Roger, he's not getting a chance to play it, I'm guessing. Don't know that rule, but that must be Roger's hand, both those cards.
I think Chris is saying that they should be getting either a redeal or that he should be dealt in. We'll figure that one out as it comes. Here are the chip stacks.
Oh, wow.
AZ with that monster stack.
Look at that. As, not AZ. I don't think it's good because it's short for his first name. Azadine.
Okay, we'll go for Az.
And then we've got quite a congested, a couple of quite big ones, congested middle. Everyone's safe except Chris de Silva, who's now on 250k. He does, he went down. He lost 2 blinds the last hand, so that's 75k. He only had 350, or just under. Quite a nice mix: Swiss, Moroccan, Argentinian, 3 Frenchmen, and I think is that a Czech flag, Tomasz? I think it's Czech. Tomasz Brzezinski. Looks like a Czech flag.
That's a Polish flag, I believe.
No, I thought the Polish flag was different. His name is Polish. I'll give you that, but I will look him up.
The cards were clearly in front of him. You don't know?
No, the first one was a little bit off, and he took it before I could take it.
No.
His hat turned with the waiter.
You are right, sir. It is, Tomasz Brzezinski, Poland. I can't really see the flag very well. It looks like 3 colours, but it's 2. It's just the red and the white. Yep. 1.5 million in winnings. So, and I have a pretty good EPT Prague in December. Played in Namur, Tirana, Malta Poker Festival, quite a big win there. Second in the Super High Roller. So obviously knows his potatoes. Won a big one at the EPT Malta. On the 5,000 No Limit Hold'em, the EPT main event, actually won it. 631,000 euros. So,
wow.
Having a in fact, wow, what a year. That was October. And in August, he came fourth in the EPT main event, Barcelona. What a couple of results. This year, he is on, in fact, this year he's on about 1.5 million. That's virtually all this year. So he has just found a way of flying from lots of smaller results over the previous few years. He goes back a long way, but they're all early 1,000, 2,000. And then this year he's gone absolutely ballistic.
Heavy scoring there, isn't there? If you were to use a cricket analogy, I mean,
very. A first and a fourth table within 2 months, 3 months, at different EPTs. It's incredible, really.
Yeah.
He's in the green. Very impressive.
Certainly, you'd hope so, wouldn't he? Unless he's playing high stakes cash somewhere, he will be winning heavy six figures that year. Not sure what the Polish laws are on tax. I've got a good friend that plays cash, and I think it's a little bit tricky, but hopefully he's got a wise accountant under his gaze.
Yeah. Well, the Polish poker festivals, 4 of them at Banco Casino, have had absolute record numbers this year. The last one, 7,500 runners and a prize pool of just under €1 million, which is incredible.
Wow.
So the Polish are really... They can't play live in Poland, so like some other countries, Nordic, Swedish, they hold their national tournaments in other countries, and a lot have settled on Banco Casino in Bratislava. It's easy to get to from Stockholm and Oslo, and Poland, obviously. Poland's very, very near. So Bratislava, both at Card Casino and Banco Casino, benefiting from other countries' gambling laws or anti-poker strategy, I would say. As with the A7 suited and the small blind, putting pressure on Kalidou. Very good-looking young man, that Kalidou. Don't like him already.
He's certainly broken a few hearts.
Yeah, I think he has, hasn't he?
They come in for a sticky defend here with the Jack Deuce suited, getting a relatively decent price, keeping his opponent honest. And we've got a bit of action here. Flush draw for Kalidou, and as likely to continue this board here, King High with the backdoor flush draw.
So, should Kalidou be looking to raise here to maximise pot value if he hits, or should he be just looking to smooth call? What would you recommend here?
Yeah, so I think I'd be thinking 2 steps ahead. When we raise and get re-raised, we're in quite an uncomfortable situation. Your opponent still has all of the strong hands as he's just raised and followed it up. I'd be looking to peel off a turn, and I'd be looking for the Queen of Hearts. There we go.
I think the Queen of Hearts on the turn would be a pretty good card. As completely drawing dead now. If a club had come, it would have been a slightly more interesting hand. But fantastic result for Kalidou. As closes down.
Yeah.
Want to get a nice 120, 130. Just bring him in with a small bet, or even check and make. I like the check here.
Yeah.
To maximise on the river. People always assume it's weak when you check on the turn. In fact, one of our people a couple of days ago mentioned that. But I'd go for the small bet myself. Let's see what he does.
I think so. I mean, we've just got such a strong hand here. Yeah, it's just a little above your sizing he's gone for, just south of half pot, and that's designed to try and get called by even hands like Queen Jack. You know, all of the opens that c-bet the flop are going to still be in there. He's going to have a queen a lot when he checks the turn here. He may also check some of the weaker King X. Wow, as getting sticky here with the H7.
I think that was a max bet. I don't think he'd have got much more than 145, which is why I favoured the 125, 130.
And a complete brick on the river, and I think Az is thinking about hands like 7-4, 5-4, 7-5, inferior backdoor clubs. He could have a hand like Jack-10 with one heart that's floated the flop, turned a flush draw and an open-ender. So he does beat some hands, but it takes a brave man to check call the turn here without really much of a plan. I mean, even hitting an ace can be somewhat penal for you when Jack-10 and flushes are already there. So I think Calidou now is going to spring a large bet, as I think this hand is very much capable of. Just trying to target hands like King Jack, King 10, King 9, Ace Queen, even pocket aces with no heart could be in there as well. Let's see what he goes for. Doesn't look like he's reaching too deeply there. Oh, adding a little bit.
200.
That could be 450.
I mean, we don't think he's going to get paid whatever he bets, to be honest.
I think those lavender chips are 100k, considering how big Az's stack is. He's got about 25 of them now with 3.6 million. Yeah, he's bombed it. Massive bet, really. About 90% of his... Whoa, he's turning it into a bluff. He's repping a missed something and trying to get Az. I think he's probably put Az on an ace as well. Hoping almost he's got the ace of hearts. Because I love this bet if it gets called. I don't think he'd get called around the 250 mark. This has more chance of getting called. Very creative play by Calidou. Doesn't mean he will get called, but I actually think he's increased his chance of getting called because it just looks so bluffy. That would be my read on it. The larger size here, he's basically saying, I've got a flush, I've got a slow played set of 3s or 6s, and I think that's about it, really. Maybe King Queen, but I don't think a hand weaker than King Queen would be going for this sizing, personally. You wouldn't bet King Queen on a flushing board. You'd probably check behind, to be honest. I think it's possible. So you're right. I think the first bit, value to be gained. Yeah, the flush and the missed everything hand. Yeah. The 4-5, as you mentioned earlier. As attempting to get something out of Calidou, doesn't look completely successful. I've got a little term for this type of tank, and I think I call it hero syndrome. You know, where he's got a big stack. He doesn't want to give the impression to this table that he's the type of player that gets pushed around, and he ends up getting himself into quite a uncomfortable spot out of position where he's essentially getting, I mean, he does still win sometimes versus the aforementioned bluffs, but there aren't that many of them, and there is a hell of a lot of value here. When he's raised blind versus blind, he's going to get called by a lot of suited hands. Not many of those are going to be turning themselves into a bluff, apart from potentially 4-5, 7-4, 7-5. And then if you think of all of the heart combinations, and maybe even hands like Queen 6 of spades, King Queen, you didn't feel like you'd go for the bigger size, and I think there is some merit to that, but there's just not that many bluffs here compared to flushes. Yeah, there really isn't. Yeah, I think he's kind of trying to, I think it's a good term for it, really. He's trying to maintain his kind of chip lead status and his captain courageous on the table, and in the end I think makes the only sensible move. I mean, he really is only beating
massive bluffs. It's like,
Yeah, and it's just so hard to know.
It's
that your opponent is capable of pulling it off with a 4-5.
Well, that's the other thing.
The amount of times you see someone take a stab at it on the turn with a hand like 4-5 and then talk themselves into a rather quick check back because they're worried about slow played flushes, sets themselves. It takes a special type of player to be able to spring off a big bullet on the river there with just 5 high or one of the missed straight draws. A well-executed hand from Casino du Es Saadi, as we come to expect. He's got some huge results over the last few years. Was also a big name on the EPT circuit.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know him really, so I can't comment. Chris now with the right hand in the hijack, but he's got a lot of players to get through. Pair of sevens. He has 8.5 big blinds, so it probably is time. Yeah, there it goes. And if someone wakes up with a big ace, or he's going to be flipping, if someone's got a big pair, he'll be probably going to get a Moroccan tea. Asa wants to call off with King Jack.
King Jack here, yeah, a little loose.
Interesting.
I don't think it's
interesting.
I wouldn't say it's particularly bad, but it's definitely showing a bit of gamble in Az's game here. Because very often you're going to be behind an ace or a pair.
He may have got his chips that way throughout the tournament, and maybe continuing,
exactly,
that kind of behaviour. I mean, he really is a big chip leader on this table. He's got to get them somewhere, and that usually means playing a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And he's ended up in pretty good position. Mountain. Good flop for Chris with the sevens. Az looking to just for a king or a jack at this point. 5 outs, 30%, even less now, 15%. We should see a double up for Chris. Unless the river is wicked, it is not. So Chris back in the game, double up, and the chip leader dented a little bit. He's lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, let's see there. Just that tank and that kind of slightly over-exaggerated tank there in that last hand. I think that implies for me that Az is going to be someone that maybe has been on a big run. He's amassed this huge stack, and he might need to just kind of give himself a little bit of a pep talk now, because if you start to make these loose calls, I think one is fine versus a guy with 8 big blinds, but you can easily just start donating around the table and end up with him stacks within a couple of orbits. If you're just slightly in the wrong headspace with this kind of stack, you're not going to win the tournament right now with 68 left. There's still a lot of meandering and ducking, dodging and diving to do at this point.
Yeah, good point. But he's in a great position chip-wise still, so despite losing a couple on the trot, he's still table captain.
Aguante.
Small blind coming in. I can't help but think of rugby every time I see Argentina. I know it's more identified with football, but I'm more of a rugby guy. Oh.
They're quite good at sevens, aren't they?
Yeah, not bad. Well, they're getting much better at 15s. They were put in a league, which is a bit bizarre, but with New Zealand, Australia, and the All Blacks. So they actually play in a yearly tournament, and they actually beat South Africa in South Africa, which is unheard of. They beat Australia by a lot at home, and they've really shown well. They've always had a good pack, big strapping steak eaters.
Big lads.
And here's a nice hand for As. Ace Queen.
Yeah, this is a nice chance to get himself back into a positive headspace, a bit of momentum, just picking up even if it's just a small pot here. There is almost a look of disgruntledness about that table presence after he put the chips in there. You know, it doesn't look like he was too comfortable about losing those 2 pots back to back, and you really have to be. So many positive things you can find from being in this position, but when you've just had 4.5 million, I think the human reaction can sometimes dictate a little more negativity than there should be.
Well, yes, he's actually lost 700 since he sat down, or since we started watching him. And he probably will be okay here. Top pair against second pair. Backdoor flush for Salim.
Yeah. Certainly playability for Salim here with middle pair and a backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. He won't be going anywhere regardless of the bet sizing, unless As goes all in or something ridiculous. Let's see, does he go for the big size here? No. Again, as you say, there's a lot of kind of playing in flow, third pot, c-betting, and I personally, I like to choose to have the opportunity to go for some bigger c-bet sizings. You don't see it that often, but I think it's very, very effective, especially on a board like this, where if they've got a flush draw, if they've got a hand like Jack 10, if they're going to be calling one anyway and going to be slightly insensitive to that size up. So with a hand like Ace Queen, you know, even a card like this, the 10, you know, now you bet small. Jack 9 is always going to be there. 10-8, Queen 10.
I think now is the time to make a bigger bet. That 10 is not a good card for his hand, and it almost certainly improves his oppo. But he's only bet 100. Still a very small bet.
Very interesting now with the small sizing. Salim could well elect to turn this hand into a check raise bluff. He is just going to call on this occasion. He thinks, yeah, he still beats hands like King Jack, Ace Jack, King 9. So maybe he thinks that there is still enough showdown to just check call and take a river. 3 of hearts completes now. And again, options are open for Salim if he does face another small bet here with the heart in hand. As isn't going to give him the chance.
Don't mind the check there. The board's paired. A flush has come. If Ace Queen gets raised on the end, where is he? So I don't mind the check on the end at all. It's a safer way of playing that hand. But I think I agree with you. I think he missed some value in the sizing of his bets. I mean, some of the sizing of bets in relation to the pot, I think, is quite an art, quite a science. I must admit, I spent a long time in the past really thinking quite deeply, I think, about how much I should be betting. Now, I mainly play pot limit Omaha, and obviously, as you all know, the maximum is the pot, but certainly the sizing of betting, it's now instinctive. It now kind of is in my DNA, and I know when I want to make a small bet, and I know when I want to make a big bet in relation to the pot. But a lot of players tend to be on autopilot, at least that's what I observe, both on the table and in the commentary box.
They just have one
and I think it's,
in most spots.
Yeah, really, and people are getting into these patterns as well, of either following other players or making a similar type bet on every hand and every pot they're in. And I think it's a missed opportunity. I think it's a facet of the game that's underutilized in my experience. But I put quite a lot of story in it.
So, using that example, the Queen 8-3 two-tone there with the flush draw, that's a good board to go for. Maybe not 100% c-bet strategy, but when you do bet a little bit bigger, because your ace queen, your king queen, your aces, your kings, they all want to get maximum value right now before the texture changes. But you do just tend to see a lot of people just kind of settle into this small c-bet sizing, you know, the serve and the cheap volley, just hoping that your opponent just backhands it into the net. It doesn't give you the full arsenal of options. Let's have a look at what's going to happen here, because as is peeled with Queen 8 suited, very loose again. getting some quite splashy vibes from this player based on the King Jack. There's not necessarily a call in that situation. He did go for it. It's by no means bad, but now peeling Queen 8 suited and having a swing at the flop, is Chris going to be able to sniff this one out? He does still beat hands, but the issue is that most of those hands involve a queen, so Queen 10, King Queen could stab here. I don't think he's going to give his opponent a hand like Queen 8, but then obviously a lot of value. Jacks, 9s could flat. Jacks probably 3 bets pre-flop, but Ace Jack, King Jack, Queen Jack, very much in there. And he does just let it go. Feels like the board is a little too connected, and his opponent's going to hit that with that cold calling range there. And as gets away with another one.
And looking forward, of course, it's not just the call on the flop. It's, how much more will it be on the turn? He's only got 500k in front of him. So although he did double up, he's still pretty small stack on the table against the big stack. And you've got to weigh all those things up. Is Ed happy with himself by the look of it?
It's one of those boards where you can improve to a queen and your opponent has King 10 suited sometimes, and then you're just completely cooked and you're getting stacked every time. So Chris, a very observant and aggressive when he needs to be, and usually in the deeper stack formats of the game, but in this kind of short stack, just quite selective and not looking to get into any ego wars with a player that's been extremely active and extremely sticky so far.
I'm not sure I've ever been on the same table as Chris when he's been the short stack, to be honest. He's normally got chips in front of him. I may have been the short stack, but I'm not sure he has.
He's usually putting people to the test, and he's a strong player.
He is.
And certainly someone
and you're right about... You made a lovely point there about absence, in this case, absence of ego. And I think when you play poker, yes, your ego needs to be solid in terms of your confidence playing any other player on the table, even if they are a big name or they've got 2 or 3 million more cashes than you have. It doesn't matter, whoever. You have to have confidence. But, there's a lovely hand for Chris, but your ego must be, left at home. You must not play poker with either anger or ego, 2 things you can easily slip into. And now how's Chris going to play beautiful hand in the big blind? And he's been raised by his oppo, the same guy as. Now, I don't think he's going to put him on as weak a hand as King 8.
No, he's not.
If he smooth calls here, it's interesting. But I mean, I think he will raise, and that will be what the book says. But as may elect just to quickly fold his King 8. This will be interesting. If Az calls the raise, his ego may be playing. Is he flat called? Excellent, Chris. Very good.
I like the choice because I think that he's spotted that Az is certainly one of these looser and
I thought he had 2 pairs for a minute. I thought he had King 8, 2 pairs. Az will absolutely see about this. There is no doubt in my mind. Probably check now just to make me look stupid.
I think Chris on this type of board will not be continuing the slow play. I think he's going to go for a check raise straight away here. There's so many hands that can call. King, Queen, Queen, Jack, Queen 10. It is another small bet, and it's exactly designed to do what his hand wants to do.
I favour the call here and then get it in on the turn, depending on the card, obviously. But I think I'd continue to milk a bit with the aces on this board. It's not a dangerous board.
Okay, looks like he's gone for your option.
No, he's called. He just called. Yeah. I don't mind that on this board at all. Oh, he's got in trouble. Word. He's got in trouble. Chris needs to hit a 6 or a queen or an ace to get out of this one.
Yeah, and we saw King 8 folded in another position, so it's very unlucky here with just 4 outs.
Yeah. My suggested route, which Chris did follow, is definitely the more dangerous route. It's the riskier route. Oh wow!
Wow.
Wow!
Checks back now. What is going on here?
This is very interesting. And the flush is made, which neither player will like.
Flush and
Although Chris,
7-5 complete.
well, Chris does have the bare ace, so could possibly bet here on that basis, or look to bluff the flush. Thing is,
Yeah.
as has slow played his hand here. I think Chris is toast.
going to do very well not to get stacked here. It's very unlikely that your opponent checks back a stronger hand than aces on the turn, and doesn't really improve on the four, apart from pocket fours especially, or uniquely I would say. There's no real hand that improves apart from pocket fours. So I think we're very comfortable. I think flush draws from this early position open
Very unlikely.
top by the board again. Yeah, 10-9 suited, Jack-9 suited, and Jack-10 suited. I think all three of those hands would jam the turn. So when we have the ace, highly unlikely to see our opponent have a flush, and highly likely to see our opponent have a hand at this point like ace-queen, queen-jack, tens, jacks. So Chris does go for this middling sizing, and he's looking for the target.
You think Az is going to push here? Commit all his chips? Yeah, so do I. There he is. I mean, I'll be fair, Az has played this hand very well. I mean, he has sucked in Chris, he's slow played his winning hand, and he's found a way to induce Chris to bet. Well, it doesn't matter that he's got aces, but a weaker hand than King 8. Could have ace queen here. Chris is getting the bad news.
Yeah.
And he has gone to the felt. Oh, Az has quite a lot of supporters on the rail by the look of it.
That is brutal for Chris de Silva there. I mean, there's just no way his opponent played a tricky, unconventional line. The open is obviously very loose. The check back on the turn is quite unorthodox, and Chris just arrives on what appears to be the perfect river. He just can't think of a hand he loses to when he bet calls the river there and just gets shown King 8 off. It's frighteningly unfortunate.
King Queen is probably the only logical hand he could be losing to, and that's one. There really aren't any others.
Yeah.
I mean, potential backdoor flush, I suppose, but to be, may have got there with a strange straighting flushing combo. But, well, I think that's... Now we know how he got his 4 million chips. Very tricky customer. You have to respect that kind of play. Just because it's unorthodox. Oh my God, you've got ace king suited now. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, we're looking at a one-man show here, and I think he's quite happy to play the main character role as well, just based on the type of game that he's brought so far. Very tricky, unorthodox, and showing some a lot of urgency pre-flop, that's for sure, with the King 8 from +1 there. I mean, we're 65 left. There's no major ladders. There's no major ICM pressure on the other players. It's not really the spot where we should be opening it so wide, but look at this.
Thomas with the jacks. The JJ for our EPT champion. I've been watching Az play all these hands. Makes the 3-bet to 200k.
Yeah.
Well, Az is going nowhere. Is he going to get in pre-flop?
No, the money's going in pre-flop here, yeah, and Thomas is going to be snapping it off.
Az has played quite carefully from what I've seen so far. He's not... I mean, I know he called the King 8 offsuit, but I think that's a slightly different thing to how to play. I can see a call here. Maybe a min click. No, he's sizing up a re-raise.
Yeah, he's going to get it in.
The question really is what Tomas does with his jacks. Not automatic all in at all. He's up against a chip leader who he has seen is running ridiculously good. He doesn't care. He's an EPT champion. It's all in. And it's a classic race. Ace-King against a big pair. 50-50. Although technically...
I don't believe we've seen any aces or kings folded. And that might be why he's got the slight equity advantage here.
I was about to say, are our graphics wrong? But and it's suited, so yeah.
I think the percentages are based on the folded cards, so it would be likely that hearts or a jack of either no hearts or a jack has been folded.
He's now got hearts on the turn. And misses. So nice double up for Tomasz, up to 2 million, and as down to his shortest stack on this feature table that we've seen so far. Still a very healthy chip leader.
Certainly is.
You gotta win your flips.
So after a bit of a topsy-turvy ride, Az is still, of course, the chip leader, but he's actually in a bit of a loss since joining us on the feature table. Tomasz, the Polish titan of the EPT circuit, with those 2 huge scores last year, certainly has the momentum in his sails, and you know you're running fairly well when you very easily dodge the overcards and the flush draw sweat there. Nice clean 10 of clubs on the river for him to stay alive with the jacks versus the ace-king, and he's right back into the reckoning as a medium stack, well above the current average.
Yes, indeed. It kind of just felt like Az was not going to hit there, didn't it? It just had that kind of feeling when Thomas just put all his chips in. It just seemed like, yeah, he's going to win this. Sometimes,
yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only person that kind of reads into that, but there's definitely a kind of maybe an irrational but a human type feeling that some person has the higher likelihood in a 50-50.
Yeah. Salim with his favourite ace-5 suited. Seems to be the only hand he gets. This is a challenge for Thomas. How does he play Queen Jack offsuit in the cutoff? I think we know an answer. Tough is the answer. That's how he plays it. Big 3 bet to 180k. What's great about this bet is these kind of hands, a very lovely playable Jack 10 suited, just has to fold because it cannot.
Yeah, they're out the way.
He's in the game, and we know Salim has a difficult hand to call out of position. So this is an interesting play.
Slightly too many chips, I think, to 4-bet jam here. Over 40 big blinds, almost 45 big blinds. If you've got 25 or 30, it's very tempting just to rip it in with ace-5 here versus a capable player. But this makes life very difficult. Do we go for a fold, a call, or 4-bet non-all-in? All of these options have their merit. And very much down to game flow, stylistic preferences. Let's see what Salim's got in the locker here. I think very likely to be seeing a fold, but I'd be impressed if we saw a 4-bet non-all-in.
I reckon he's got a tennis racket in the locker looking at him.
Yeah, it does look like he's been hitting a few balls to warm up for the feature table, doesn't it?
Yeah. Whereas Thomas is on the kind of fat dad, gotta wear a hoodie look. Slightly different impression there.
Just
but
a
if
lot
you compare
of
their bank accounts, yes, there's a lot of poker. We can see Thomas has the I've played a lot of poker body.
It's a very sedentary game, isn't it?
So in the end, Salim made a very strong 3-bet to 380k. Either he read something there or just thought, I'm putting my foot down here. I've been beaten up a couple of times. It's not going to happen again. Very, very good play, that one. And Thomas immediately folds his Queen Jack offsuit. Took no nonsense. We might have to keep an eye on this boy.
Yeah, definitely the type of hand that can spring that move from time to time, and looks like he took it that time to good effect as well. I think game flow wise, Thomas had just won a big all-in. He's now trying to make a name for himself on the table in terms of the presence as well. These small little factors can be quite a good thing as well.
Absolutely. Salim with arguably a better suited ace. Same suit, different number. The 10, of course, the magic card for making straights in both directions. I think we've seen Roger play a hand yet, have we? Seat 2?
Not an awful lot. I think there was one relatively insignificant part. I think he might have defended the big blind or something, but yeah, nothing tangible.
Oh, how they do? Where are you going? Calling in the big blind with Queen 2 offsuit. Okay. I'm not a fan of calling with this kind of hand. It just, you literally have to hit both pairs to have any sense that you might be winning, and you can't bluff much against a raising hand in early position. So I just kind of think, you're
just asking for trouble on these queen high boards a lot of the time. When you flop a deuce, you've always got bottom pair unless you're fortunate enough to flop trips. You're not quite getting the price with this hand pre-flop. I think suited is a slightly different variable because you can flop a bit more equity or at least backdoor equity. But yeah, I think it's just a little too sticky at this point.
Do you know if he is or was a footballer? He's just got that real footballer look about him, physique-wise and name and...
He won the PokerStars Championship in 2017, and I remember him being... James Hartigan was talking about him, and I think that actually rings a bell. He might have had some kind of athletic background, whether it was track and field or football, I can't quite remember.
I will look him up, because I've got a vague memory ting going on, and it's not to do with poker. But I have a very strange brain that remembers really unuseful things from the past, except in quizzes. Let's have a look. Can I do SOW? I was... Oh, okay, no, hang on. Another professional poker player based in London. Interesting. And you're right, he won that 17-1 for 121k. Basketball. He was a basketball player.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know at what level. From age 5, before he focused on football. That happens quite a lot. There's quite a few younger fit poker players that had a kind of semi or professional sporting career, and then, if you like, took that competitive instinct into poker. There's also a lot of ex-football pros that play in England who are not necessarily athletically endowed in their 40s and 50s. I play against quite a few of them. Tony Cascarino ex-Republic of Ireland centre forward, Millwall and various other clubs. He plays at the Empire with me. He plays the PLO quite often.
Yeah, I
He used
believe
to
he
play at
played
the
in the
Vic
World
a lot.
Cup.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, no, his football career, he was a big kind of a, Mick Carford type centre forward, big number 9. Roger has made his first raise. First hand he's played, and this is interesting. First hand he's played, you think he'd get respect. He's older, he's playing his first hand, and Az is having absolutely none of it. And 3-bets him with ace-9 offsuit. Now Roger has a tough decision here. I don't think he's got enough to take Az off it, and so he's pretty well got to fold.
Yeah.
I think if he put his 420 in, Az is getting value to call and would do. Another strong play by our chip leader.
Certainly, he's been up, down, left and right, but he's definitely moving in the right direction. He's still got such a dominating stack that he can, it feels like his style and his kind of strategic plan is just to get in the mix and try and run away with it and keep applying the pressure and see if people are going to fold and buckle against him. And obviously that comes with a lot of risks, but if you get on the right side of a decent bit of card distribution and the cards are in your favor, you can certainly run away with it and amass a huge stack as we are approaching what would be, what are we now, 3% left of the field, just at 4%.
Yeah. So Salim has the king, queen, and Az might be at it again. This time with a much inferior holding of 5-7 offsuit. I always think it's a bit of a giveaway when someone 3-bets but uses quite a lot of their smaller chips. I don't know what it is. I just look at that and think he's not that strong. And then it's just
a little bit less conviction in the chips going over the line as well. He looked quite comfortable with the ace-9. With the 7-5, there was a bit of deliberation. It was almost like he was gathering the courage to make the move.
Now Salim took no nonsense off Thomas a couple of hands ago. How's he going to play against Az? He had an ace-10 suited then. No, he had an ace-5 suited. This time he's just electing to call.
Yeah, king-queen suited is just a hand that plays so well against someone that is a bit on the wider side. You know, if he's going to have hands like king-10, queen-jack, queen-10 maybe, king-jack. Wow, absolutely daylights out of this board.
Smack top pair. Doesn't have any red cards, but he has smack top pair. And quite right to check. Let Az do the work. If someone wants to be aggressive, let them. And just hoover up the pot later with a slight smile on your face. Or even inwardly. Here comes Az. He can't help himself. I see, this is a huge bet. Is this 400? It's not 400, is it? No, sorry, 200. I misread the chips. Still sizable bet, nearly 50% of the pot. Salim going nowhere. Doesn't want to give away the strength of his hand in his body language at this point. Question here is, does he raise or just call and hope
I think
there
with
is
the hand
no
too strong, we don't mind. Yeah, allowing Az the chance to fire another barrel.
You want to avoid a straighting card or a diamond though on the turn. He doesn't really want to see.
I think when you're in a 3-bet pot, the fear of those kind of board runouts are a little less because.
And there it is.
Look at this. Diamond,
and now Az has hit a pair as well. That's the only flush draw. He is running good. even if he loses this pot, the very fact that he has some outs is fairly incredible. Doesn't have a something.
Yeah, kind of a weird turn as well, because he beats hands like Ace Jack, Ace 10, and Jack 10 now. But the bet might be designed to put pressure on a hand like Ace Queen, Queen Jack, pocket tens. Is that going to call the flop? Probably not. It's very interesting that he does go for this this follow-up, double the previous bet. I think he's basically decided pre-flop that he's winning the hand with the way that he's going about business here.
Yeah.
And Salim, an interesting card now. He is going to get stacked by a flush unless the board comes something like, I don't know, the Jack of Diamonds on the river or any diamond completing. So does he want to check jam now and deny equity to hands like Ace King with the diamond, King Jack with the diamond, Ace 10, Ace Jack with the diamond? That could well be in this line.
I think his best line is to be shoving here with 3 diamonds on board and just hope. Just cut out there, but it's back to the same hand. And just hope and pray that Salim, that as doesn't have a made flush on the turn.
I agree. I think if you get something like the 3 of clubs, 5 of spades,
he's all in.
You can check call again. But
and if he gets called and loses, it's the right play. You can't.
Think so.
I mean, it's like in the playground. You can't be bullied. Let yourself be bullied all the time. You sometimes got to, just on a very human, basic level, turn around and go, "Up yours, mate. I'm winning. You're drawing. It'll cost you."
Yeah, and if As is at it with a hand like Ace 9 with the 9 of diamonds, Ace 8 with the Ace of diamonds, he's still folding a good chunk of equity here, so he doesn't mind getting the shove through in some ways, but also if As is willing to gamble with a hand like Ace Jack, Ace 10 with the diamond, Ace King probably would have called already, Aces probably would have called, but he's denying equity, getting it in ahead, doing everything he can to secure the pot and going about it in the right fashion. I think I really like the way that Salim's played this hand. I think a check raise on the flop versus a player like Az would have been a bit of overkill with the hand this strong.
Well, he's looked very assured so far and played every hand to the maximum capacity as far as I can see. So an impressive young man. This decision could take quite a while.
Yeah, he doesn't like folding, I think, is what we can see from his style so far. It feels like it just pains him a little bit to put the chips, put the cards over the line. The chips are going over the line, that's for sure. I mean, he's got himself into a bit of a pickle here, and I don't think he was considering the option of getting check shoved on. I think he was just kind of a little bit funneled into this thought of, I need to try and do something to win the pot here, and let's just fire in another bet and hope for the best. There wasn't much nuance with this hand, obviously, with the hand like 7-5 offsuit. It's just all a little bit erratic.
Well, Salim is certainly showing to be a better player than his record on Hendon Mob. Quite a lot of small cashes, basically. Max $47,000 total. Winamax seems to play the Winamax quite often, mainly here in Marrakech. So may well be a Winamax satellite qualifier, I'd a guess, and played a little bit around Belgium, Namur, and Brussels, but all fairly small cashes. So either as a cash player or a regular tournament player with Winamax satellite seats to his name. May have qualified for this one, I don't know. I think Winamax feed into this, do they? No, it's a WSOP, so Probably not. And he has called.
Wow, what a monumental blow up from Az here. He could be stone dead with a hand like this. Does flick it in with the 5 of diamonds. And if you're Salim here, you are trying to battle with the demons of thinking, what the hell is that hand? How's he got 9 outs with 7-5 off?
And he misses. So, bit of a sigh there from Salim.
Yeah. I mean,
Won't be straight back to the tennis court tonight.
He could be. He could be getting ready for the final table tomorrow. I mean, what a hold there, and what a gift as well in some senses.
And he has gone straight to the top of the leaderboard. Look at that. 106 big blinds. Khalidou now equal second with Thomas and Az. So all 3 of them second place. Taran, the new player to the table, seat 1, Canadian, is nicely placed. And then Roger, our short stack, who has made to fold in his last foray, is in last place at this feature table. 60 players left out of 1,694. I think George mentioned the payouts earlier. We've got 3 million dirham, which is 280,000 euros up top. Fantastic amount of money for a main event like this. We're well into the payouts at the moment, so that's not an issue. People being paid 60,000 dirhams at the moment, and we mentioned it earlier, but 9th place final table, which we'll be doing tomorrow night, is 300,000 dirhams. So that is 28,000. I think if my maths is correct, sounds about right. 300,000, 3 million. Yeah, 28,000 euros for 9th place. That's a pretty good result for finishing last in any kind of tournament, if you see it that way.
Not bad.
Very healthy final table payouts. I've never actually played here at the Casino de Marrakech, so that's something I need to address this year in some form or other. I think the PLO Masters would be a great addition to some of the tournament festivals here. What do you think, George?
Why not? Give it a spin.
I certainly do on the table. So Salim back with his small connected aces. I have a series of very silly AI videos that I think you've seen 1 or 2 of, and
seen and enjoyed.
Good. And my ambassador, who's going to represent me in Sheffield, because I can't make it the next one, is where I call myself the king of PLO, which is very much tongue-in-cheek and quite an English kind of sense of humour. What did he say? He was very rude, if I may say that. He came back with... I thought it was quite funny. What was it? PLO Donk King. Yeah, very nice. How lovely. Fair enough. It's quite hard not to be a donk in Omaha one way or other. And this time it's Aguente that takes down the pot. First win for him.
A game that is so complex that if you're not a donk from time to time, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I played last week and bet all 3 streets into the nuts. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Happens occasionally. I do prefer to be the other side of that one. We haven't seen much of Tehran yet. and he sat down about 10 minutes ago when Chris de Silva got pretty unlucky with aces against a very loose call by As with a king-8 offsuit, hitting 2 pairs on the turn. And then, to be fair, maximising his return on it. Played it very well. Tomasz, Mr. EPT 2025. Can't be anyone that's had better results than him. A win and a fourth in 2 different EPTs. That's going to be hard to beat. One of the regular players.
No, he's one to watch.
Sorry?
He's one to watch with that record. It's so many cashes last year that it's going to be difficult for it to be a fluke. You know, you can have your one and done type players that win a big field, but someone that's just consistently knocking at the door and picking off big scores is definitely someone that's going to be grabbing our attention.
He played this very cute. He just called Kalidou's raise, smacks top pair, checks it. Kalidou's also hit. I'm pretty certain he's going to feel he's ahead. There'll be no raise pre-flop, no bet. Tomasz really disguising his premium hand here. So unless Kalidou hits another 8 or a 7, he's probably going to lose a fair chunk. Yeah, oh, look at this. This is a master at work. Check or bet? It's quite a toughie.
Yeah, I think checking probably is going to slightly outperform the bet here. I think we've still, you know, it's just so many hands that can continue. We're going to be behind top pair, sometimes a better 8 from time to time. I think I'd be looking to check this one back and then make a decision on the river. I'm going to go for the second barrel, by the way.
Now, your name is not Kalidou, Sal. You don't have those kind of sunglasses, George. I mean, you know, these
All
are
those moves.
These are betting sunglasses.
Yeah,
145k. Exactly.
Sure.
I'm not opening 8-7, then hitting a flop and checking. It's just not me. Tomasz in a world of joy.
Yeah, he's loving this. Really doesn't lose too many hands here.
I love his body language on this as well. He's just looks very unsure in many ways as to how to play his hand. Does not have the body language of my ace queen is winning. Has he pulled the trigger? No, he's just called again. Wow. 2 pairs now. That's a good card for the 8-7, really. And Kalidou's going to think he's ahead. Yeah. Now, I wonder whether Tomasz... I think he'll check again. And I wonder whether he'll raise if there is a bet on the end.
I
to be
think
honest,
he's got a
Tomasz
strong
should be
enough
betting.
hand.
He should be betting this.
Might lead.
He needs to get... He might lead, and I think he should. He's got top pairs, top pair, top kicker. I mean, he is losing to virtually no hand. I mean,
and there's many hands that he could have that would be forced to potentially find a creative bluff. Jack 10, miss spades, Jack 9, 10, 9, miss double gutter on the turn.
Yeah. Kalidou, have you picked up any red flags, any flags? How are your spidey instincts? Is your opposition going to feign inside? That's a good check on the end. Decided that he had a good enough card, which he did, to win the pot without any risk. Very nicely played by Tomasz.
Raise 80,000.
Our friend Az back in the mix with the ace deuce suited. Looking to drive the action, of course, from the +1. Doesn't seem to care too much about positions, just likes to get in the mix and open it up.
That's true. He seemed to have had complete either ignorance or just insouciance, French word, insouciance to his position. I hope the French boys, as part of our team, appreciate the effort I've made there. You didn't get James Hartigan doing that.
I have no idea what you said, but it sounded good.
Kind of means what it is. Insouciant. It's kind of don't care. Oblivious.
Yep. Wow, and he's picked up the rockets now, JJ. Let's have a look. Oh, and now he's making a bit of a song and dance of it. Oh, he hasn't seen his cards yet, but this is going to be interesting.
To be fair, well, he raised most other hands, so I think it would be more than reasonable to expect him to raise this one. Down to 2 million, though, from a start of over 4. He's literally lost half his stack. He's lost more chips than anyone else has, except Salim, who gained a lot of them.
One way of looking at it.
It's you know, always compare. Oh, Taran, first hand, he's in trouble. He's got the ladies, and he looks like a ladies' man with that toothpick.
Certainly does, or fancies himself at one at the very least.
I'm with you. I was being slightly sarcastic. With that, you see, you've got the reverse hat going on as well. I think that says it all. And he ain't no Salim in terms of his athletic prowess. But what is he in terms of a poker player? Well, he's a 3-bet kind of man. And who wouldn't with queens, especially against the fairly loose chip leader? This is absolute manna from heaven for aces. Then he got 1 million behind. He just should get it in here. Have some kind of body language that says it's a. Don't just call this one, not this one. I think if you're 3-bet, it means you go up against a really good hand because they're 3-betting you. You know, Mr. Win most of the pots. I think he has raised, but it looks like, yeah, it's a kind of min raise, just about, I think.
The only issue now is that you're starting to shrivel up a little bit with the queens. You feel that your opponent is representing aces or kings, maybe ace king suited. I don't think he's going to have jacks here for this sizing, under the gun versus small blind. So now, all of a sudden, from what you thought was a great spot, you're starting to think, am I under it here?
Yes, I think...
And that's why he's called. It's quite an intelligent call, because if As does have a random bluff, you know, he can navigate non-ace high boards quite comfortably with the queens. And this is going to be the end of Turan, I think, unless he can find a lady on the turn or the river. 1.12 in the middle, 830 behind. I think he's just going to be going for the check shove here.
Is up all between the strikers that the game has ever seen, and a phenomenal record in Grand Slam finals. In his first 3 major finals that he played, he won all 3.
Yeah, it's pretty unlucky to have an overpair. Against a very loose chip leader.
Yeah.
325,000.
And As gonna go for a super small bet. Oh, Turan's actually led now with the queens. Looks like he doesn't even want to face the c-bet, which I'm not a massive fan of, because if Az is here with some kind of funky ace-10, ace-queen, king-queen, you know, you really want to get the bet out of him. And Az now makes life even trickier for Turan, because he feels like he's going to have the best hand now. He's going to be shoving almost every turn.
Yeah, I think that 500 is going in on...
Ooh, that's
probably the only turn that might slow him down a bit. But I mean, he's committed. There's 1.7 million. He's only got a third of the pot. He may well be facing a bet here and have to call.
All in.
Yeah, all in announced.
Now what do we do?
I think
now we lose to ace king. We're completely crushed by ace king, which is definitely in the range.
Yep.
We've got the queen of clubs, so our opponent can't be shoving with ace queen of clubs or like some kind of wild 4-bet with queen 10 of clubs. So that leaves what exactly, JJ? Ace jack, does that now jam for value versus this line, or does that just get it in on the flop? I think it just raises and gets it in on the flop when they flop top pair, if they were 4-bet bluffing with ace jack. So now we're thinking, okay, aces, ace king are probably the most likely hands. And he's got 505 back, which is 12 bigs. And he may feel like he's already committed too much of his stack. Sorry, I just dropped the mic there. He's folded.
Yeah, great fold. Great fold, really. And Az does not know where to look. He's like... I think Az missed a trick there. I really do. I think he should have raised on the turn, and it goes in. What's he frightened over there with aces? Jacks is the only hand, really. Right, I will just take a short break.
No problem at all. So as the man stacking chips, trying to get above the insanely big stack that he brought to the feature table. And he's been in probably 50 or 60% of the pot so far. Certainly been giving a lot of action. Kalidou, though, has been whispering into the ear of the chip leader. I wonder if that is because they are friends, or if there's some sort of gamesmanship going on there, just kind of subtly unnerving him on his left. I'm sure it's the former.
Raise 80,000.
And all in from Roger with 340k. He's got south of 10 bigs. There's never getting through versus the King Queen. I mean, Calado might be giving it a bit of a song and a dance, but I just don't think you can fold a hand this strong. He does make the call with the King Queen of clubs versus the Ace Jack of clubs. It's a fair fight, slight equity advantage for Roger Tendor. And with 56 left here, a huge pot for both players in their chances to navigate their way to the final table. Ace 10 8. Now Roger only looking to fade the jack. Eight of clubs on the turn. No worries for Roger. Has the clubs covered, of course. Just the jack, the offsuit jack, and the offsuit jack only to be eliminated, and does find the deuce of hearts on the river, doubling up to 760k. Right back in the thick of it, really, with about 19 big blinds now. Plenty of playability there. And he's got as on his direct left, which could be fruitful. There's been a situation before where Roger opened the cutoff with ace-3 suited, as responded with a 3-bet with the ace-9. So if Roger could find something in the next conflict of that ilk, he might be looking at a double up towards 40 big blinds. So certainly very much in the reckoning here.
Yeah, that was a almost an ideal hand to be up against, just lessening your risk so much against the other big suited cards. So, well done, Roger.
Six, seven.
Was there a 6 on there? No, 6. In my head, it was like 80,000.
6, 7.
No, it's a joke.
Queens for Mascaoui. That's me butchering it this time.
I think this is the first hand he's played. I do not think he has featured in any hand.
He's certainly been on the more conservative side.
I don't think he's had much to play at all. We've kind of missed him almost every round. In fact, forgot he was there. He's been very, very quiet, to say the least. Thomas has normally re-raised with this kind of hand, so... But look at this. What instincts.
Wow.
Quietest player on the table, hasn't played a hand. Very playable ace-10 suited, and just nuts. I mean, that is impressive.
Super impressive fold. Most people still find a reason to heal there. I mean, 3-betting, of course, is a bit dicey because you don't want to 3-bet and get it in for 15 bigs with ace-10 versus a short stack from early position. But healing is usually an option people take. You can see Calado, he can't wait to get the chips over the line with 10-4 suited in the big blind, and this could be a nice spot for Mascaoui here. Although a flush draw for Calado so.
Wow. Calado hit his last flush draw, didn't he? Was it him? Yeah, it was him. Hit his last flush draw on the turn.
That's
and
it.
got paid on the river. Here he is with another one, with the backdoor straight. Blocked, of course, by the queens. I'm not going anywhere for 1-bet. 50k? 50k? Have I read that right? No, I suppose...
Yep.
It's a tiny, tiny bet because of the overcard,
And now
I guess.
King on the turn. I think this is going to go check, check, and then the keys to the vault are with Calado so over there. If he misses his flush draw with the 10 blocker, he can definitely have hands like Queen 10 here. I don't see how Mascaoui is going to find a bet on the turn. 2 overcards to his queens. He looks like he's going to... What's he doing? Going for another small sizing here? Now losing to King 10. hands like King 9, King Jack as well, all improved. So I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve here with this 100k. Is it more that he doesn't want to check back and face a big bet on the river? Could well be.
Yeah, you're right. That king is a very good card for Canada. Not that he'll necessarily be putting his oppo on as strong a hand as queens.
Oh my word, the flush completing ace on the river.
I mean,
just...
if you had to list
Yeah.
the worst card possible for queens, it would be the ace of spades. Poor guy. Unbelievable. He's not going to be happy when he sees this. Like, to be fair,
Yeah, I mean,
his pot control was excellent. His pot
somehow he
control
got
was very
value.
impressive.
Weiter.
More like this.
You know what? When I called her the eighth, I told myself I was going to see an ace or ace. I was going to call in. I should have just went all in. Because then what do? Stop.
Snap.
Call.
You will see.
He's saying, would you have called the river jam? And Kalido so replied, I think, with snap.
Yep.
Okay. He means American Airlines. That's what he said.
Oh, okay. Okay. What is that? Let's save some chips.
Raise 80,000.
This time it's Kaladu with the ace queen. I think we'll see a 3-bet coming in.
Raise
Yep,
200.
fairly standard on the small blind. Aggressive button, raising min. And Diego! Oh, is his name been changed? He's now Diego. Okay. Diego.
Makes life easier
Maybe that
for
was
us.
his... Much better. The hand of God has got the second God hand. Something like that.
Very nicely done.
Smooth. Sometimes you just got to smooth it out. I think we will
Yeah,
see an all-in. Really, he's got no other. No point in going 500-600. It's going to be a straight all-in
It's
with this
almost a
stack.
bit suspect to go 500 here when it's over half the stack, and you just can't really have any bluffs. So I think it looks you're more likely to get called by a hand like 10s or 9s if you shove here. I think that those hands could heroically find a fold if you go for the never bluffed 500k in this spot. Yeah, he's shoved. And I like this.
Should
He's
fold.
25
He
big.
should fold. Yeah, okay, he does. And I think we'll see a call from Kaladu. What's it going to cost him? Half the pot.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
so,
think
yep.
he's going to fold ace queen small blind versus big blind here. There's an opportunity that Diego, he's seen. These are the two loosest and possibly the two most active players on the table, battling each other, button versus small blind. So it's certainly not out of the realms of possibility that a player like Diego could, find a shove with a hand like ace jack suited here, ace 10 suited, just thinking that these two guys are, figuratively swinging their pieces around.
Figuratively swinging their pieces. I think it's a fairly automatic call. He's got ace queen. He's got chips invested, and he's costing him two. He's getting 2 to 1. I mean, I don't think it's
the positions
too
dictate a call, don't they, really?
complicated.
you're almost happy to see jacks and tens with the amount that's already out there, already invested. And if you do run into this kind of hand or ace king, you're still going to have 30%, so it's not the end of the world. Does look like he's going to be on the bad end of it unless he can find some kind of miracle ace or backdoor straight. Even that would be a chop with the 6 there. Jack is safe as houses on the turn.
Three cards, 3 outs. And a double up for one of our less active players on the table. Looks like we may be going into a break. Everyone is up and milling. There's a lot of milling going on.
Yeah, a nice clean hold there with the kings. And a nice smile as well. As you should be when you're stacking up the chips. Now, north of 50 big blinds. An enviable stack to be holding in such a highly precedented tournament as the WSOPC main event here in Morocco.
That's nicely placed now with 2 million chips and the blinds 20-40. Very good shape, 50 big blinds. Taran, the player at risk now, since his neighbour doubled up. But decides against making a move out of position with his hand. What's this? Hello. Aces twice in 5 hands. Or is it less? I think it's 5. Wow. As on the, he's a yo-yo player. Up and down like a swing.
Yeah, he's had a lot of playable hands. He's pushed the envelope a little bit with the king 8 in 1 or 2 spots. The ace deuce from early position as well was a little bit on the looser side with the kind of stack distribution at the table. But you know, he's picked up aces twice now. Got the job done last time versus Chris de Silva. This time, again, going for the jugular, continuing to appear to be super aggressive. And this is why I think Diego's cold calling here. Yeah. And Mascui
may bring him in
with his queen.
I mean, 7-3. Yeah, he was. I think I'd rather play 7-3 suited against these boys. But more chance of. I think he's getting real value to call there. It's such a clear hand. You either hit or you miss. There's just no nuance about it. You know, you've got a flush draw, or you've hit 2 low cards, or a straight board, or whatever. You know, or there's 3 high cards. Okay, this flop is the exception. He's nearly hit it, but not really. Great flop for aces. 80k, 100 maybe. Possibly even less. $65 was the bet, and that's enough to take it down.
Yeah, pretty much anything. There's an interesting little secret conversation going on here between Az and Kalidou. I was kind of pontificating on reasons for what that would be whilst you were away, I believe. My first thought would it might be some gamesmanship from Kalidou there, in position on the very active big stack on his right, just kind of unnervingly sending some dulcet tones into his ear about how he's going to be fighting back if he continues to go about business in this manner. But I think it's more friendly. Mascui hasn't picked up much, and when he did pick up a hand, he got punished with the queens. Now looking at an unfortunate Jack-4 offsuit here with 9 bigs in the small. Not typically the type of hand that we want to be shoving with. There could be arguments for some kind of 2.7x raise here if you want to go polar. Let's see what he arrives on. I think most players are just going to be folding here. Such a bad, disconnected hand. And he does get out the way. And it is frustrating in these situations. You're just looking for just almost anything pushable in that spot. Any kind of king, any kind of suited hand with a bit of connectivity is going over the line when you're fighting for the big blind ante as well. 2 bigs out there, and yeah, just not really working for him at the moment. But I quite like his table presence. You know, you could see him almost geeing himself up there to be like, look, let's just play the patient game. I'm still in the tournament. I've still got a chance to get back in it. It only takes 1 spot for me to get over 20 big blinds now. Certainly don't want to be tapping out.
We have 54 players left. And I believe we're playing down to 9. Day 2s tend to be the longest in any 3 or 4 day, well, sorry, the second last day. So this is a 3-day tournament, and day 2 tends to be the long one, usually on a Saturday, and then your final table on a Sunday. Some places do it different. Banco Casino, who I do a lot of work with, they set their final tables on a Monday, which actually works quite well, I think, for the poker tourist. And we've got a lot here in Marrakech. They just want to play the weekend and go back on Monday. If you're in the fortunate position of making the final table on the Monday, you can pay for another flight, pay for a night's hotel because you're in the money. So I quite like that, but this is the more normal approach where you have day 2 or 3 on the Saturday and the final on the Sunday. Have you found any other variances around the world, in your case, where you've been playing?
In what sense, sorry?
In terms of when final tables are set. I mean, this one is tomorrow, Sunday, quite normal. Banco different in that they do it on a Monday. I just wondered if you've come across any variances.
I've played these kind of slight side events where it's still a prestigious tournament, but it's not the main event where they can kind of go Wednesday, Thursday. But I think that in order to allow as many recreational players, businessmen, people with full-time jobs to kind of contend still, I do think that the late Sunday finish is still the preferred option. I think that sometimes at Banco, the Monday can be a little bit anticlimactic for some reason. There's just not much energy in the casino, and then you're playing in an empty room. There's a 30-euro side tournament starting. Yeah, I think it's quite nice when that you're able to get a rail of people that haven't left already. Whereas if you make a final table on Monday, a lot of your friends are just flying home on Sunday night anyway.
Yeah, you lose the kind of rail, the live rail anyway. I quite like it because it means I can fly back on Monday morning and commentate.
Get a cheaper flight,
home. Right? Always cheaper flight on a Monday. Yeah. This is an interesting play and very much bad timing. Turan, for some reason, and I really don't know the reason, Well, I do know the reason. So there's a raise and a call, and he's seen the opportunity to shove in the hope that they'll both fold. And in this case, neither player is likely to fold. We've got eights of Tomasz will be on the end, and we've got ace jack of Diego. Now, the only way Tomasz will fold is if if Diego pushes with his ace jack, then Tomasz will fold his eights. But it's certainly a good stack size to get this through. I'm not against that. I think it's quite a
it's just
courageous play, but it's
from frustration after the Queen's hand. I think he feels like he's lost such a big part of his stack. Now he's almost forced to make a move, and he sees chips out there, late position action, and is just a little bit lost in that main character syndrome I was talking about with Az earlier. You just feel like I deserve to win this pot. That's what happened with the 7-5 with one diamond of Az earlier, gifting the double up away, and now Turan just, kind of seeing dead money in there and maybe just a little bit too eager to get the chips over the line. There's plenty of opportunities here with 570. Diego's going to go all in. Oh no, he's going to call, sorry. My mistake.
Cool.
And now
I think he's just calling, which actually is the most difficult. That makes Tomasz' decision even more difficult, I think. The call is stronger than the push, and he does fold his eights. And eights, of course, dominate the 5-4 much big more than the ace jack. He's still got 35% around.
There's a couple of looks around the table at Turan, who stood up shouting and giving it a big one, as if to say,
he is giving. Well, he is a big one, giving the big one, isn't he? Look at that.
How on earth has this guy got to the final 54 is what they're thinking, and he's flopped an open ender.
Wow, increased his outs tremendously there. Gone from 35% to equal 50%. Any 5, any 4, any 2, any 7.
Fuck, that's not a good card.
Jack is a bad card.
Takes out the
Worst card.
anything except the straight now.
One time. Deuce.
And that is not one time, my friend.
Nice playing you.
Yeah. We haven't seen these kind of injustices with the 7-5 and now the 5-4. The two blow-ups, they're just getting rightfully punished in some ways. You got to be quite patient, and you've got to respect the game is the term I use for those kind of plays. No business there to be jamming with the 5-4, and he's going to be taking an early bar. As back in the thick of it with the ace-8 offsuit, opening to 2 big blinds from under the gun. Getting through to the blinds now. What's Roger got cooking up in the big blind? He's got Queen 7 of clubs. He's going to fold. Okay, that's a little bit of a more conservative fold there with the suited hand versus a player that's been seen to splash around a little bit. I think I'd be taking my chances getting a decent price there, but
He's definitely on the loose side, and the rest of the table have been here all evening, so they really should be picking up on that and thinking a little deeper about playing back at as you do.
But
So in about 15 minutes we'll be coming up to a break. It'll only be about 10-12 minutes for the stream, and we will catch up a bit on the players' dinner break. We will still be half an hour, 30 minutes behind the live action. So if you are friends of any of the players, I'm sure they'd appreciate hearing from you as to how the other players are doing. Quite legal, nothing wrong with that. We've been more than an hour behind in the last couple of hours, and we've got a fold by Az. That's a rare thing. Yeah, he folded into a good hand as well.
yeah, these two are quite pally. I think there might be some kind of I'm sure they're not colluding, obviously. I'm not going to throw that out there, but they just seem to be, you know, maybe not getting as involved as they could be. Their 4-3 suited is a very clean hand to call there. It doesn't interact with the under the gun range at all. You can flop a lot of very disguised, strong holdings. So I'm quite surprised to see that.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the low suited connectors. Just so easy to play. I once knocked someone out of a tournament with ace-jack, and I called his raise with 4-6 suited. Hit the 4 on a fairly low flop. Was very confident he had 2 high cards. It all goes in, and then he started swearing at me and telling me what a bad player I was for winning a hand with 4-6 suited. And I just
And meanwhile,
smiled.
you're stacking his chips.
Absolutely. I had no problem taking the tirade.
Yeah,
And some people have very fixed ideas of playing poker, and it's part of the journey, I guess.
Ideas that you have to play good cards and you have to play perfectly, and you know these are often the players that miss out on the creative side of the game, and you know, all to the benefit of the rest of the players in many ways, because you know, playing this kind of fixed and very what's the word, just very
what a flop for Caladu. Top 2.
Yep.
Top
Talking
2,
about
but on
the
a dangerous
6-4
board. Salim raised for the 10-8. It's got a gut shot. But this is he's led out on it as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
Don't mind this. Definitely going to have a lot of strong hands on this board.
I think Salim will have to call 100. Certainly call 1, and see if he can pick up a spade draw on top of the straight. Hit a pair maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any kind of spade,
call.
7, 10, 8.
Well, 7 obviously.
Yeah.
Still Caladu dominating this hand. 90% favourite. Only a 7 now. The 10 and 8 and spades are all gone. So any bet will probably go through, and it does. I think he went all in, but he's quite short stacked, so fair enough. He's back in the game. Tomas this time picking up the Cowboys, and Kalidou may feel an ace-9 is certainly strong enough to call. Got the small blind in. I hope for his sake he doesn't get out of his chair and throw his... Wow, what a fold. Ace-9 folding a raise. Admittedly, it is to Tomas, and maybe he just feels he's not someone to tangle with apart from whatever hand he's holding. Diego slightly different.
If you peel, you're going to be in a very tricky spot out of position. So you feel more inclined to find some 3-bets, and then also maybe a fold is kind of the easiest way to play the hand. And so I think maybe Kalidou there, recognizing the strength of Tomas, and of course his record speaks for itself, and just kind of picking his opponents quite wisely, I would think. And on this occasion, he'll be delighted on the break to see that his opponent had the Cowboys.
Yeah, if he does either look back on this on YouTube or get told by a friend that may be watching, he'll find out he's made a very good choice. Well, 7-8 more minutes to the break. Quick break for us and our viewers. This, of course, is being streamed in Spanish and French as well. We all work together, though. It's a very collaborative setup here. Excellent staff backstage supporting the commentators through the journey to make sure you guys get the best possible coverage. The players help a lot as well. Tomas folding his small pair there. As at it again. 6-4 offsuit, raising in the cutoff. You've got to appreciate his constant aggression.
Yeah, there's a definite energy and urgency. I like playing against this specific type of player, but doesn't find any big bets post-flop. So he has a wide range, but he doesn't like force the chips over the line. He doesn't make your life stupid. So I think it's not that difficult to navigate when you're up against someone that could have basically anything, but it's just following it up with third pot, third pot, third pot. A little bit of a theme we've seen from him so far.
We have, wow.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
With 4-6. It says 4-bet 980. I think that's an error in the sense of, oh no, okay, he isolated. That's right. Amin went all in and then AZ as isolated. Got a gut shot. Got something.
Yeah. 7-6-4.
6 or 4 or a 7.
Still live.
And that's no good, so
low.
Well deserved double up for our short stack.
Yep, low.
Very loose.
Very loose stuff there. Not sure why we're just handing over 9 bigs there. I mean, fair enough in some ways with the open kind of. Yeah, well, it's find positive ways to describe that hand, but it's just too loose. And Salim Diego and Az as Thomas now with the dominating stacks, well over 50 lines. Kaladu, Amin, and Roger. 17 to there with a little bit of work to do, but by no means in any kind of. Back-to-back all-in confrontations for with the nines versus Tundors. So another clip.
Perfect.
So classic last time. Yeah, it's 10 versus 6-4. This one's a little bit more by the book. Can Amin find back-to-back doubles, looking unlike as Tondor springs into action with a king high board as well as the dominant gut shot. No jack available for Amin, of course, looking for one of two nines. Save 3 of spades on the turn. Going to be 9-9-9 versus the Swiss.
Yeah, ace king taking this down, and I think we will lose Amin. Clear at risk, I think, is Roger. Oh no, he may have some left, you're right, because he doubled up. Looks like we're going to be going into the break now, everyone, and we'll be back at 1/4 the hour, about 12 minutes from now. Grab yourself a drink, cup of tea, something to eat maybe, and George and I will see you very soon.